life. Whether you're ready or not, sometimes it's rough. And it takes all that you've got, but he's been here, just waiting for you to knock, to take his hand and plant your feet on the rock. I want to live my life on the rock. I want to live my life on the rock. I want to live my life on the rock. I want to live my life on the rock. I want to live my life on the rock. I want to live my life on the rock.
Hi, welcome to Life on the Rock. Tonight is our West Coast Walk for Life recap show. Doug and I went out there with Jim and Joy and a bunch of the crew, and we had a great time.
We did.
Good to see you, Doug.
You too, Potter.
This was the 11th annual one.
Yes.
EWTN has been there from the very beginning, and it's a special walk. And we have different clips. We put together some montages and videos for you to see tonight. And we just want to introduce this first clip. We're going to interview the organizer for the walk. It's a whole team of volunteers, and she's going to talk about some of the difficulties it takes that they have to overcome in putting on a walk like this. We heard a lot this year about that this is a human rights issue from the crowd. And we heard the role that faith plays in cementing us and inspiring us and giving us energy to fight for this cause. But it's a human rights issue that binds us all. We all have to defend the dignity of the human life.
Right, right.
What does the faith do for us in this?
I mean, the faith is a very serious motivating factor. Consider, you know, when Jesus came to the earth, came to earth and assumed human nature, he didn't come as an act of, you know, trying to, you know,
just an activist.
Yeah, as an activist, just to fix the problems with the way that people were being treated by the Romans. You know, let's clean up some of the the legal aspects of the way we treat other people. He came to defeat evil. He came to really conquer evil, conquer death, and break the chains of sin.
The whole ball of wax.
Everything. Yeah, the whole enchilada, you could say. But along with that, all these other issues that fall underneath that spiritual aspect of these battles, and that is the rights, especially in this country, in America. You know, all over the world, we should have these human rights, but in this country, we're founded on these rights. You know, our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence. I mean, they speak to the reality that we as human beings, what we have in this country, the right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. The first one is life. And so our faith should motivate us to go deeper, give us that sense of perseverance, that sense of we're not going to quit no matter what. This isn't a sprint. It's a long until death race. We just keep moving. Not even a race, it's a battle. We just keep going until death. Knowing that along the way, we're not only hoping to save lives, babies and such, we're helping hopefully to keep people from falling into those situations. Raised in a pro-life family, a child has a much greater chance of not even considering the idea of an abortion if they find themselves in an unplanned pregnancy in some way. So there's so many different aspects of what these rallies do to reinvigorate and motivate and inspire us, both on the human rights issue, but more deeply the faith cementing us, as you said. I like that term. In our perseverance to do it. That's
the one of the young person puts it in. And we see in these walks too and marches that there's a growing collective witness of people that have been wounded by abortion. And John Paul said these are the most eloquent witnesses for life. And so we hope that's a message for hope for women or men who have been involved in abortions out there, that you have a special role to speak out against abortion and to defend life. And one of the young people made a point in this clip too about how we're inspired by our own lives to witness to the dignity of life by the joy and peace that we have. And that's always a fun part of these marches, right? We're there with the fellowship of believers as a spirit of joy and peace and encouragement for us, but hopefully also a witness for those who are on the other side on this issue.
And that is always one of my favorite parts of the whole event, is to see this tremendous joy. And then you see in opposition, when you see the pro-abortion side that are on the streets and they're out there. And this year they tried to block the rally, they tried to stop it, and the police did, move them out of the way and keep them at a distance. But there's a certain anger that you sense there that you can clearly make out. And I'd stand in the middle. I was trying to interview some of them, and here the pro-lifers are walking down the street, and their response to the shouting and screaming is prayer and singing. So there's a real joy coming from the hearts of those who are in the streets, knowing what we're there for, ultimately is to bring that expression and that truth. It's something much more profound than we can fully understand even. It's much more beautiful.
So we're going to roll a clip from our West Coast Walk for Life recap show. So let's take a look.
Our message is a great message. It's urgent that you get it out there.
So many people just can't see the positive. They just can't see the truth.
I believe that no matter what situation, age, or location we're in, every human has the right to live.
When you're here, you actually physically see all these people like who have your back, so it's great.
You can see them, you can hear them, that we are the pro-life generation. Undeterred, no matter what goes on in this world, they are ready for this battle to defend life, to defend the dignity of life at all costs.
It's been very challenging, but I just feel like that's really going to make it an extra special one this year. I think I have a feeling for some reason that there's going to be a lot more conversions, a lot more change of heart. We're going to be a witness because there's going to be quite a bit of opposition this year, and I think we're going to be an example to them.
Is nothing sacred? The right to life comes from the Constitution. You see that. Everyone has certain inalienable rights, and I think the right to life is one of those. So who are we to say who can have life and who can't?
I'm very proud to say that I'm Catholic and that I support life.
My Christianity affects my views on abortion just like it affects my views on murder. I wouldn't say that I'm not just pro-life because I'm a Christian, but the fact that I am a Christian and I believe that all life has value plays a huge part in the fact that I advocate for life.
I mean, I agree with the movement in general. It's something that I believe in because it's a personal conviction. It's just that my faith backs it up, and it makes me know that I've made the right decision, because not only do I believe it, but my faith cements me in that decision.
So what's going on in San Jose for the young people? What kind of projects do y'all have?
So what's amazing is that for the first time in our diocese yesterday, we had our big youth life rally entitled Inspire Life, and our theme was a masterpiece of grace. We had about 200 young people, seminarians from the Diocese of San Jose, priests, and our bishop who celebrated Holy Mass. It was an amazing night. Young people were inspired to protect, promote, and defend the culture of life, and they were empowered by the Holy Spirit.
We as college students, it's kind of our place to step in. We're the next generation. We're the ones who have to step forward and show our government what we want from our life in America, and that putting an end to life isn't what we want.
Sometimes, like we were saying earlier, it's kind of difficult to share your faith, and just to see a bunch of people willing to do it was really nice.
Berkeley Students for Life is an underground group because whenever we flyer or we table and try to get the word out there, people just come up and they're like, you guys suck, you guys hate women. So
This environment, I feel, just makes you, kind of fortifies you. You know you're not alone, and you know that this is a really important cause. And so to be here with everyone else, and to, we were walking just along, and we saw other people kind of preaching the pro-life movement, and that was really fortifying. So yeah, we definitely need to take the walk to them, take the message out to them, and there's no better place to do this than San Fran.
This is something that I believe in, that I've always believed in, and I think if we all come together, we can all do it.
We're all to be bearers of light, and God's asking for an intimate relationship for each of us. And so to take that stand, it only takes one to light a flame, and it could be you. And to take courage to do that and be that, to bring other people to the Lord very powerfully.
Before I was born, the Lord knew who I was and knew what He wanted of my life, and how can I not accept? And so here I am working with young people. It's the joy of my heart. And yesterday, to inspire these young people to understand that their lives are masterpieces of graces was amazing. We have our priest who did the homily yesterday, Father Joe Kim. He said at the very end of his homily, he said, the whole world is waiting to be inspired by your life. The whole world is waiting to be inspired by your life, my life, our lives. And it's not only, we have to understand the value of our life for us to be inspired by life, to defend and promote and protect the culture of this beautiful life, as Pope John Paul echoes beautifully.
I want to live my life on the rock. I want to build my life on the rock. I want to build my life on the rock. I want to live my life on the rock. I want to build my life on the rock.
You know, Doug, we know, of course, that no woman wants to have an abortion. They're often in crisis, a lot of fear. They'll say, if I just had one person to stand up for me and with me to walk, they would not have this. And one of the lies told to them, too, is that, oh, you're going to have this baby, it's the end of your life, that you won't be able to do things or goals you have. And there's plenty of stories of women going on, you know, getting pregnant when they're younger, to get a degree and to work, to provide for the child and things like that. And we're going to hear from that side of the argument. But I think that's powerful to say that it's not the end. In fact, motherhood is like the greatest vocation, right? To be a parent is more important than the work we do or any kind of worldly accomplishment that we have. Parenthood is this tremendous vocation, gift from the Lord.
Right, and that's something, you know, you hear men say as well. You know, young guys might be in a situation where, you know, they have now, through this act, they have co-created in another human life.
Right.
And they feel like, well, I won't be able to go to college. I won't be able to get the degree if I have to take care of a child and a woman, you know, a wife or, you know, the mother of the child. So they don't want this either. And that's what drives a lot of women, as you mentioned, to the abortion clinic, are the men. I mean, literally and figuratively, they are the ones that are encouraging or threatening a lot of these women to go. And I've said to men over and over, you know, when I die and stand before God, I'll be judged on what I am, not necessarily what I did first. This is what I do. This can change. What I am is a husband, father. When I co-create with God and my wife, a child, I mean, I am now a father. It's not what I do, it's what I am. And that is greater than the work that I do in some respects, in many respects. And you're right, women hear this a lot. The feminist agenda is to tell women, you know, you've got to have the power to be free, to have a career and so forth. And that's got to be put in the right order. The being a mother, I mean, it is the most incredible thing, you know, for a woman, you know, if God blesses her with that.
And there's this lie out there that there's some kind of war on women, those who are pro-life, that they want to put women down or just reduce them to motherhood. That's their only value. And of course, that's not true. And abortion is never going to be a real solution, because you're introducing more problems. That you've taken the life of an innocent human being. You got the guilt and all that to deal with. And so sin and committing evil is never going to be a solution to the problem that you're in. There's never going to be a justification for it. So
and the best thing we can do to defend women in this truth and this beauty is the deeper understanding that God is the one that allows a woman to co-create with him. You know, as Cardinal Mindszenty said years ago, is that, you know, God breathes an image and likeness into that womb. His image and likeness in that womb, and that when the woman stands before God, you know, angels won't even be able to claim this, but the woman can. She doesn't have to build cathedrals. She doesn't have to solve crisis of the world. She doesn't have to cure diseases. She's a mother, and in God's eyes, that's incredible, because the only way that God has chosen to bring other human beings into this world is through the womb of a woman. Breathe his own image and likeness into that womb. Before she even knows she's pregnant, God has already done this. That is a powerful truth that we need to be encouraging more women to know, and men too.
So we hope you enjoy this next clip.
I became pregnant with my first child at the age of 17 during the summer before my senior year of high school. And the pregnancy came as a total shock to me, but abortion was never really an option, as I had considered myself rather pro-life at the time. With much support from my family, I, in 1 year, graduated high school early, delivered my son Elias, married his father, and immediately started school at Sacramento State University. Finally, my life was making sense. But fast forward 10 months ahead, and I had a stressful first year of college nearing its end, a marriage that was now over, and my young son caught somewhere in between. In the midst of all of the chaos, I discovered that I was pregnant yet again on February 13th, 2013. I will never forget that day. I sat there alone, shocked and scared, staring at a positive pregnancy test, thinking this cannot be happening again. I had just proved to my entire family and everyone else that I was not just another statistic. I was headed down a promising path, attending college and caring for my son, all at just 18 years old. To make matters more complicated, we were living in my parents' home, and I knew that the rule was, if I were to get pregnant again, we were going to be forced to leave. Torn between the life of my unborn child and my 11-month-old, I decided that I was going to have an abortion, as I believed it was the only way to not further disappoint anyone and to not further complicate my education. At just 5 weeks pregnant with my second child, I sought out a chemical abortion. Yet little did I know God had other plans. You see, as I reflect back on those first few weeks, I see, without a doubt, that God set barriers, making it difficult for me to go through with the plan to terminate my pregnancy. Now let me explain what I mean by that. You see, the first abortion clinic I visited at just 5 weeks along was cold and brief, yet still I probably would have terminated my baby on that day had they not told me they didn't give the abortion pill on Fridays. Though this seemed odd to me, I went ahead and made another appointment for the following week. However, a sudden family emergency left me unable to get there. The next week, I visited a Planned Parenthood clinic, but I've always had these terrible veins that doctors have never been able to draw blood from, and sure enough, I walked in, and the medical assistant was unable to draw my blood, so I was unable to take the abortion pill that day. I returned to that same clinic the following week at just 8 weeks pregnant. On March 13th, I sat down in a Planned Parenthood clinic and swallowed the RU-486 abortion pill. I planned to finish the rest of the abortion at home the following evening as instructed. As soon as I got to my car, I felt intense regret, and all I could do was pray, telling God how sorry I was for doing such a thing. While still sitting outside of that clinic, I searched for some type of reversal on my phone, and it was then that I found abortionpillreversal.com, a site ran by a pro-life pregnancy center called COLFS, based out of San Diego. Their website advised anyone wanting to reverse the abortion pill to call, so knowing that I had nothing else to lose, I chose to do so. A nurse named Debbie answered my frantic call and explained to me that 2 pro-life doctors had recently released a treatment to reverse the abortion pill, one that consisted of several weeks of progesterone injections. I could not believe what this nurse was saying. My thought was just, could there really still be hope for a child I had just tried to abort? With the help of this nurse and my sister who I had confided in, I was able to locate a doctor, and within 24 hours of taking the first abortion pill, I had already begun the progesterone treatment for its reversal. There's a little more. When Planned Parenthood called to see why I had not returned to my follow-up ultrasound, the one where they make sure the fetus, as they referred to them, had been successfully removed, I explained to them that I had changed my mind and was taking steps to reverse what I had initially intended to do. I was then told by the Planned Parenthood director that what I was doing was very risky, likely wouldn't work, and that my child could very well be deformed. You see, after taking the abortion pill in these clinics, these people are trained to tell you that there is no going back and that your unborn child has already died and you must finish the rest of the abortion. Thankfully, I was prepared to hear this, and I did not listen. On October 20th of 2013, I gave birth to my second son, Zachariah. He was born beautiful and perfectly healthy. As for the home I thought would be forced to leave, well, it is still our home. And as for the education and goals I thought would be impossible, those too are going strong, as I am currently in my 3rd year of college and now at a Christian university. I am so grateful for the way our story worked out, and I am proud to stand with the pro-life community that helped enable my son to survive the first stage of an abortion. With medical advancements like this, we are one step closer to ending this war on the unborn. I know what I just said to you probably sounds a little crazy, so I thought it would be best to show you what I've been talking about. It is my greatest joy to be able to introduce you to my son, Zachariah. And the nurse that answered my frantic call on that day, Debbie. Can you say hi? Say hello, San Francisco! I'm pro-life! Woohoo! Thank you so much for allowing me to share my story.
I'm here with the Lamb of God Maternity Home with Grace Delaney, Sarah Saccone, and Bianca. You all run a home for young women in crisis pregnancy, and you have 100% placement and adoption. Your message, right, is that there is no unwanted pregnancy.
That's right. Well, there might be an unwanted pregnancy, but there's never an unwanted child. There are 2 million couples on waiting lists in the United States who are down on their knees at night praying that a girl is exposed to this option, this third option of adoption.
And you have 100% placement.
Absolutely. So our girls come to live at our maternity home, and they're really put into a bubble of support and love that is, all we talk about is open adoption. And so they're supported in that decision rather than defending it out in the world where people don't necessarily understand it and may even make comments like it's a selfish decision. And of course, it's the most unselfish thing a girl could do.
Now, Bianca, you were at the home and you placed your child for adoption. Tell us about your experience at the home.
Yes, so I'm a birth mother. I received all the support that I didn't have I couldn't even tell my family. So at the moment, living at the home, they were my family. They are still my support, and my daughter is 16 months. It's a choice that I think that every woman should know about, because when we are in crisis, they tell us, or we think that our only choice is abortion, and they're not letting us know that we have this option.
Now, Sarah, you work with the women. Do you see a transformation in the women that come to your home?
Yes, definitely. We're really the advocate for the woman. I mean, the baby's the easy part. So many people, so many lovely couples want the child, but we're the advocate for the woman. And when they come in, they're broken and they're wounded and they're scared. And then once they leave, they just feel like they have a voice. And for the first time in their life, oftentimes they're really proud of themselves. And they love telling their story and sharing what they've done. And they've all found God, and they've just become these incredible women.
Now tell us about, you have a documentary that's airing on EWTN.
We do, Father. So tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific, The Sidewalk Chronicles is airing on EWTN, and it's a documentary by a Hollywood film producer, and he really juxtapositions abortion and women who regret their abortions and are hurt by that with 5 of our birth mothers who are proud of their decision to place their babies for adoption. And they were all heavily considering abortion until they were exposed to this option, this third option of adoption.
And what can people at home in their communities do to help support the pro-life culture?
You know what? That's a great, great question. And our mission statement is to impact the culture of life by being a champion for adoption. And everyone has the opportunity to be a champion for adoption just by speaking about it in a positive way, supporting girls that make that choice, offering it to them. Even in the pro-life field, a lot of people think they can't ask a girl to do that, but these girls are in crisis and they're looking for solutions. So we owe it to them to offer them this beautiful solution, this third option called open adoption.
I was conceived to a college student who had failing grades. She was in a relationship that she knew was not going to work out, and she also was living in a converted garage with molding floors. And she found out that I existed and knew that to keep me was the only choice, because she, as she always says, that she loved me from the moment that she knew I existed. And from that moment, she really worked to change her life around. And as a single mom, after she separated from a biological father, within a few short years, she clawed her way up the corporate ladder to become a top-ranking executive at Macy's. And she moved us from out of a converted garage with molding floors to, relative, affluence in the East Bay in California. And I mean, to this day, she always says that it was having me in college and, you know, it was, you know, keeping me, which really gave her the resolve and the true will to do anything and the ability to overcome whatever odds happened. And I always find myself very grateful for that.
Through the act of abortion, she may render herself infertile. So education is huge, and just reaching out and building up that culture of life to show her that she is confident, she is capable. You know, we've got this whole feminist movement going on, and, you know, it's like the liberal feminists, they're basically saying you're incapable of carrying a child. You are incapable of continuing your education and your career and having a baby. Well, we're here to say, no, you are strong. You can do this. You can have this baby and continue your education and have a career and be successful. That's true feminism.
Often those suffering silently feel really unforgivable, or as if they couldn't approach the Lord. But He so desires their hearts and their return home, and wants them to experience a freedom from the burden. And Jesus is the one who came to say, the Father Himself loves you.
You know, one of the main themes we heard throughout this rally was, we are the pro-life generation. They chanted this dozens and dozens of times at the beginning of the walk, actually throughout the whole walk down that street. We kept hearing over and over, didn't we, Father? We are the pro-life generation. And I found this interesting when you talked to the older people that were in the walk. You found some that had been in these efforts for 40 years. Going way back from Roe v. Wade. And that was the great thing about it, is the pro-life generation of today stands on the shoulders of the pro-life generation that went before, those who originally began this fight for life, this battle, when Roe v. Wade, January 22nd, 1973, was a crushing blow to the dignity of life, and of course to the beauty of our country, of America, and it affects the whole world. You know, Roe v. Wade affects the whole world because the influence that America has throughout the world,
and the monies that our government puts into supporting Planned Parenthood and things.
Yeah, through the UN and third world countries, it's an unbelievable machine of death and destruction and evil. So this pro-life generation that we are today needs the pro-life generation of those who went before, those who have been in this fight. And we saw several walking in the streets. I remember the lady with the walker just cruising down with her walker, you know, and she with the little wheels on it. She just kept going. She was, I forget, 90, close to 90 or so, and just kept moving. And this is what I thought was powerful, is to see the young people there chanting, "We are the pro-life generation." And then you see those who've been fighting it for years. And their hearts are very encouraged by the younger generation rising up more and more, much more vocally, in crying this message out.
It's a growing movement among the youth, and it also bolsters the faith. We see so many people come back to the faith over this issue, strengthens them. You also see the presence of very strong women. You know, sometimes the church is criticized for our views or positions on women, but I know very strong women in this movement, and they're using all their gifts and talents the Lord has given them to be real leaders in the pro-life movement. So it's a beautiful thing, and as you said, it inspires many people to begin ministries, or to help out in ministries, or to think about, hey, what can I do the other 364 days this year?
Yeah, and that is something Kristen Hawkins talked about, you know, at the beginning of the rally when I interviewed her, was, you know, this is not a once or twice a year event. It's not voting one day out of the year. We vote for the pro-life politicians, and then we go to a march, or we stand on the street in a walk or a life chain. This has to be a 365-day living this culture of life, pro-life generation, mentality and behavior. It has to be rooted in us. We have to own it. I tell my kids this all the time, you have to own your faith. You know, you have to make it yours, not just because mom and dad teach you this, but you have to own it. We have to own the pro-life generation. We have to make it ours and realize that wherever we're at, day in and day out, our prayers, our fasting, our sacrifices first, and then our action second, as San Jose Maria Escriba would say, is necessary, that it's 24/7, 365. Yeah.
Well, here's our last clip. We are the pro-life generation.
Abortion is not a political issue. This is a spiritual issue. And we can fight abortion in the political realm, but that's not ultimately where our victory will lie. And so you can't get discouraged when a congressperson or a senator that you've elected votes the wrong way. Because you have to remember, there's one person who's always in charge here. And I think that's what we have to keep in mind when we're talking about this. And I think we have to know in our hearts. You know, often we come out to the walks, we go out to the marches, and there's a lot of people that kind of check off their list. Like, I've done my pro-life deed, check. But what really counts is what you do when you go home. What happens 364 other days of the year? Are you being pro-life? Are you out in your community? Are you seeking social justice with people in need? Are you helping them? That's what really counts. And most importantly, do you believe in your heart that we can abolish abortion? I know we can do it. The polls have showed us. Everything, you know, shows us that we are leading in a pro-life direction in our country. We know we've done this in other social movements in our country, but so often pro-lifers themselves don't actually believe it. If you knew next Friday that abortion was going to end in our country, you would act a little differently. And that's what people need to do every single week. Wake up on Monday and say, abortion's going to be over by Friday, and work your hardest that week. And if it's not over by Friday, do the same thing next Monday.
And you know what? That's the attitude of a warrior. That's the mindset of someone who just doesn't quit no matter what the odds are. We just don't give up because we do know ultimately we do this for the glory of God, the salvation of souls, and that's what's most important. Our Lord went into the desert for 40 days and prayed and fasted before he went into his public ministry, before he went to do spiritual battle, you could say. So it's important that we don't forget that.
We're out here to spread awareness for the Walk for Life West Coast, just to let girls know that there are more options and abortion is wrong from conception. That's when life begins. As a Catholic, I believe that to be true. Science proves it. There's nothing really going against it. It's just people who have excuses. Yeah.
Among your peer group, do you find opposition to that pro-life message?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of people who are they're not willing to engage in conversation about it. It's just kind of they're just like whatever they want. Whatever, it's a moral relativism. That's what it comes down to. Is that they're pro-choice because they're scared to defend the cause. Yeah.
Are you here with a group?
I'm here with my family and my girlfriend over there. Yeah.
And what does this do for your faith personally to come out and stand up for life?
It strengthens it because there are a lot of people behind us. I think when you're by yourself, it's kind of hard to see all these millions of people or thousands of people behind us. But when you're here, you actually physically see all these people like who have your back. So it's great. Yeah.
It's so encouraging to see so many people. And, you know, it makes you feel like you're part of something much bigger than yourself.
Iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. Yeah.
I just noticed you have your sign. We just had some counter demonstrators, and you didn't back away. You went right up to them. Why?
I did. I believe that no matter what situation, age, or location we're in, every human has a right to live, and we live in a society where people believe that murder is wrong. So we're lying in this hypocrisy of killing people, real humans. So I just believe that we're contradicting ourselves constantly, and it's not right. Murder is wrong no matter when, where, or what it is.
So it's not just a religious order. Certainly our faith.
Exactly. No matter if you're religious or not, people need to understand that abortion is morally contradicting and wrong. Even in our declaration and what our country was founded on, we have a right to live no matter what as humans.
Now, do these counter demonstrators, do they intimidate you?
Well, I think it's pretty normal to be intimidated by people chasing you down, but you just have to remember that, you know, you're doing the moral thing and they're wrong. You
didn't back off. You just went up and held your sign up to them, I noticed.
I did. You have to. You have to.
Tens of thousands of people you can clearly see down the street. This is packed, and it goes on and on for quite some time. Now, we're somewhere in the middle right about now. We've been marching for about an hour. and the streets still lined with thousands and thousands of people. What we've been seeing over and over is this energy, especially with the young. We're hearing the chant, "We are the pro-life generation." But as we've discovered, again, it's not just the young. There are all ages here. There are the elderly, there are those with walkers and canes, and there are those being pushed in strollers. It's all ages, it's families, it's individuals. There are thousands from all over the place. They've come from different states. They've driven for hours to be here, and they're clearly pro-life, as you can tell. People yet again have shown up for this March for Life. You know, lately there's been a lot in the press. There's been a lot in the press about lives mattering, and we're here to say that all lives matter, no matter how small. It's still a life, and it matters. So you're here, part of this rally. What do you sense? What do you want to say to the world about the importance of all lives mattering?
I think it's so important to come here and just to be a presence in the city, and just to show the importance of the dignity of everyone here, everyone we're looking at in the streets. I think it's easy for people to become used to the culture and just what society is telling them, and I think having people out here, especially young people, just here as a voice for the unborn and
now
everyone.
that speaks to the next question I was going to ask you about. The mantra that's been chanted over and over here is we're the pro-life generation, right? How does that feel to be chanting that with so many people from all over the place? You don't know them all personally, but we're all here for the same cause.
Yeah, it's incredible. We just came from Mass at St. Mary's, and at the end of Father's homily, he said, you know, you guys are the pro-life generation. You know, it's on you guys. This is your time, and it's really powerful, I think, to have so many young people here, and have everyone here witnessing that. I think
it's such a peaceful protest so far, right?
Yes,
and that's the beautiful part about it, is that this is all about trying to find something deeper, more profound, more important.
Yeah, I think so, and everyone has smiles on their faces. I think that's the most powerful thing, just seeing happy people standing up for life. So.
Well, great job. Thanks for being here, Morgan.
Thank you.
There you go. We have many, many young people here. Very exciting to see. Very important. But we are standing on the shoulders of those who've gone before us and who've walked these marches for years and really stood in the trenches for a long time. What does it feel like for you to see so many young people involved with this kind of energy in an event such as this?
It's uplifting, it's inspiring, and you can see that God is working in bringing this message to the young people. And it's so encouraging to see that things are changing.
Yeah, and there is a different energy out there. We do see protesters out here today, some shouting on the side of the street, in fact, right now as we're going by. But we just sing and pray and chant, "We are the pro-life generation," and keep it very peaceful. What message do you have to young people out there who might see this or hear this about the importance of them really stepping up and being part of the pro-life generation?
Well, I definitely would encourage them, and I think what they need to realize is that we're not here against anybody. We're here for life. We're here for the mother. We're here for the father. We're here for the parents, the grandparents, for everyone that abortion impacts.
That's true. Yeah, nobody's the enemy. This is a spiritual battle. We're fighting against the evil of abortion, but we want all to find peace and truth in the midst of this. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for your time and for being here today. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, the idea is we're here and supporting life from every age, from conception to natural death. Not just about babies, but also the elderly, the people who the world looks at them and they say, what can you be useful for? But we say everyone has dignity. And that's a big thing that people don't talk about nowadays.
And why is this issue so important to you? What motivates you to make the journey, to come out here to walk?
Well, main thing is because as a man, we're supposed to be protectors. That's what we are. And we've forgotten how to do that. So that's why, especially as a knight, we got to go out there, we got to show that we're here to protect and to serve and not to attack anymore and to uphold life. Women should be happy about life, and we should also be protectors for the end of life as well, too.
Okay, what's your sign say?
So my sign says, Pope Francis says, all life has inestimable value, even the weakest, most vulnerable, the sick, the old, the unborn, and the poor are masterpieces of God's creation, deserving of the utmost reverence and respect. And I know freedom and respect and choice is always out there, but it's a responsibility, and I don't think the world understands how much, when you recognize your dignity, you recognize the dignity of other people.
it's just crazy that there is a culture of death, and that's what we're going against. And that's why I'm here, just like supporting life. It's just the basic rights. And, you know, a lot of people might say, why bring in a baby into this world that is just full of hate and it's just nothing good? But think about it, babies bring joy. Don't you want to bring joy into this world? So that's the message I'm trying to convey, mostly with my smile. So when you, yeah. If you,
keep working on that.
Yeah. But if you notice the other side, you know, it's not all smiles. And that's what I'm here. I'm not trying to yell at anybody. I'm just here to smile and just show that me as a young person, that we are the generation that cares. So don't even try to get it twisted.
For our last segment, we'd like to invite Emily Lunsford to join us. Emily,
hey, Father.
No stranger to the network. Of course, you've worked here for years.
Yes.
But now you're working with Religious Catalog and Media Missionaries as your main job here.
Media Missionaries, yes. I just help out sometimes with the taping of Religious Catalogs. That's what I've been doing all week this week.
So we wanted to bring you on this last segment because you were out in San Francisco, you did the walk.
Right.
You were there for the Media Missionaries. First, tell us about your work.
Sure. My work is, again, with our Media Missionaries, and that is volunteer support for EWTN all around the country. United States specifically is what I work with, and it's we have a group of about 9,300 I should say, volunteers all across the country that have come forward. They're viewers of EWTN, people that love us. They want to do more. They say, what else can I do to help spread the message of EWTN, which is essentially evangelizing the world to get more people to watch, more people to grow in their faith. So I do travel to some Catholic events to meet more people and let them know about EWTN, and so that's what I was doing at the Walk for Life. We had an information booth there right beside where you all were filming. You were doing the interviews, and we were just letting people know that we were there. People, you know, people who hadn't heard of EWTN came up and said, oh, what are all these, you know, video cameras? And we'd say, we're a Catholic television network, goes all over the world with the message of the gospel. And so we were able to answer questions about our radio, TV, online, the National Catholic Register, and then Media Missionaries. We were signing up people that want to promote EWTN in their parishes when they went back home. And we would send them free literature and information about EWTN that they can put in the back of their church. We do a lot through email and electronic communications. So we send out bulletin announcements, little blurbs that I write that we can put into parish bulletins just to encourage more people to watch and alert them to upcoming programming.
And what was your experience of the march? You're a young person, you're a Southern Catholic from Alabama here.
Yes.
Went out to the great city of San Francisco. What was your experience?
It's an awesome walk. It's an awesome experience. I was blessed to be there last year as well, doing the same thing, and actually went on the walk last year to actually walk the streets of San Francisco. It's such a different feeling than the one in Washington, D.C. Maybe it's partly because it's in California, and you just feel so much more bombarded by the culture of death. In a sense, when you're there, you just kind of see it, all the lies that the culture is telling us. But you also see the immense hope. There's that many people. This year, that piazza was filled up more than ever before that I've seen on TV or been in person. And to see that many people coming out in support of life and just want to be there and make a difference and to walk those streets. And like Doug was saying earlier, just the peace that is marked by the people of the pro-life movement that are there just to bring peace and joy and the truth. We're really talking about the true message of the pro-life movement.
And there's a real solidarity that is very warm and very far-reaching from whatever part of the country or world you are. The pro-life understanding, especially rooted in faith and prayer. You saw so many people praying the rosary. You know, it's just groups of people coming down the street praying the rosary. And do you get that sense, you know, being, you know, a younger lady, and you're engaged, right?
I am.
So, you know, God willing, you will be married, and if God blesses you with children, you will be living in this pro-life generation.
Exactly.
So what's that feel like to be at that end, knowing that things are where they're at in our country?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I want to be a model for that, and just to show people that it's so great to be around other young adults that feel that way, that there is such value in motherhood. And I think there's a real rebirth of that sense now, even with the young people that I know, my immediate friends and peers, we're seeing this just increased value played on the roles, femininity and masculinity. And that's been so amazing. And you see that when you're you know, with other young adults in the pro-life movement, like when you're out there. And so we're really just trying to renew ourselves and, you know, purity, and there's just so many wonderful things. I keep thinking about the angelic warfare confraternity that we have that helps us, and all of our friends, like me and my friends, we've all been enrolled in that. And just, I've seen so much grace in my life because of that. And it's just amazing to have these helps. And we have so many helps out there.
Well, spend just a couple of seconds, if you could, on the angelic warfare confraternity, because we had them on Life on the Rock, and it's a powerful thing that dates back, you know, many years.
Thomas Aquinas,
exactly.
right? We just had it, that's way back.
13th century. So,
yes.
And just tell the audience briefly what that is about.
That is just basically banding yourself together with other people who are in the fight for purity. And it's for anyone, married people, single people, religious, lay people. And you promise to pray 2 prayers for purity every day, and then 15 Hail Marys. And you just know that you're in solidarity, like you were saying, with your brothers and sisters who are in this fight for purity. And so I just encourage everybody to check it out and look into that, because it really has been just a beautiful experience.
And not to plug my website, but I got to plug my website.
Oh gosh.
BattleReadyStrong.com. Under our resource page, we have a link to the confraternity, Christian Warfare, because I was so impressed by that whole the history of it and how powerful it really is. So
you're in good company.
Yeah, BattleReadyStrong.com resource page, and you'll find the link to the confraternity Christian Warfare.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, this brings our show to an end. We hope you've enjoyed our Walk for Life West Coast recap show. And we always want to end on a note of mercy. I know a lot of women and men have been involved in this, in abortion. Turn to the Lord for help, for healing. Turn to friends. You know, there's a lot of groups out there that can help you find healing, and be part of the pro-life movement. I mean, I think that's a great way to heal from the wounds of abortion. So we want to give a positive message here, and at the same time to unequivocally stand up for life. You know, once the time the egg is fertilized, it has its own DNA, its own life, its own growth. It's a human being. If it wasn't human, it's never going to become human. You can't make that change. We're here defending life, the dignity of life. Jesus did when he came on earth. We're destined for life with God for all eternity. So every human person has an invaluable role to play in God's plan. May our Heavenly Father shine his face upon you. May he give you his peace. And may Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We'll see you next week.